Hey, everybody. Happy Talkie Tuesday. My name is Dori Patrick. I'm a mixed media artist and maker living and working in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. How are you today? Happy last day of March. Can you believe it? It's crazy. It's crazy how fast the time is going. Well, as many of you know, I'm a mixed media maker. I try to check in here on the channel once a week to share just little bits of my creative life. And I think you're going to enjoy what I have cooked up for you today. I'll tell you about it in a little bit, but I'm wondering how you guys are all doing. Um, is it spring where you are? It has just come on like it is spring on steroids today. I've been sneezing like crazy. So I think the things are starting to grow, and I've got my little beverage here in case my throat gets horsey. I know I've told you all before. I love spring. I just I don't love all the things it does to my body. But we'll be over the hump soon enough. It is like 80 degrees and warm and sunny, and I have zero focus today. I am hoping that the audio on this is going to come out okay. I got my little air conditioner going today because it's so warm. And I'm going to do my best to edit out the noise. I hope it's going to work out okay. You guys seem to think that the last one with the fans going was okay. So I'll try to work some magic on this one too. But it's so funny. I don't know if those of you who came to my show opening a few weeks ago and then my studio opening, I had not yet figured out how to turn the air conditioner on. It's so silly. It's an old air conditioner, window air conditioner. And I had pushed the button like a zillion times, it seems, and it did not work. And there's even like a trip there for the outlet. And I thought, well, maybe the breaker is tripped or something. And so I even reset that and tried it again. It wouldn't come on. So I told the gals downstairs, and they had our building guy come by, and he's like, "Oh, so you're having trouble with your air?" And I go, "Yeah." So he just like walks right up to it and presses the button, and it worked. And I was like, "What is happening here?" Well, it turns out that it's such an old air conditioner that the button is not centered where it originally was. It was like off to the side. And so you have to move your finger off where you think you need to press it and also press really hard to get it to work. But those of you who came to my opening and my open studio, I know it was hot up here. It was so hot. We had the fans going and the windows open, but it was still hot with all those bodies in here. And here I could have had the air on the whole time. I just thought it wasn't working. It's so silly. Anyway, sorry to everybody who roasted in the studio that night. Good grief. So I'm very happy to have air conditioning, but it is kind of loud. So we'll see how this goes. I brought some notes because I am so I don't know. I don't know what the deal is today, but I feel it's one of those days you need notes. There are a couple things I wanted to share with you. So, you know that we moved my studio from home to this new space. And so things at the house are getting put back together slowly but surely. We are calling my old studio space the rumpus room. That's what my husband decided to call it. And so it's going to be a family room again, which is what it was in the beginning. Um, and so we got the flooring put in last week, and the guys did such a great job. It looks so much better. It's great. We couldn't be happier with it. They were so sweet and courteous and worked really hard to get it done fast. So we have been slowly moving the things you need for a rumpus room in there. Our couch from the front room is going back there. We've got a whole bunch of these QB storage. It's like a bookshelf, but they're cubes instead of like a straight on bookshelf, if that makes sense. We have a whole bunch of those from our upstairs TV room. So we have been moving those back downstairs and slowly we're getting those filled. Some of them are just going to be, decorative things like some of our little tchotchkes and pictures and stuff. And then some of them will be full of stuff we're going to do in there. Like my husband loves to do puzzles. So he's got a little section he's storing his puzzles in. We both have yarn because we love to, he knits and I crochet. And so we both love to, do that in the winter time. And so we have those stored in those little cubbies, all that kind of stuff. I'm waiting on a couple of tables that have wheels on them that I think are going to be my craft tables there. Because, your girl got to work on fun, crafty stuff all the time, not just here at the studio. So when we're watching TV, or whatever, I can just roll that table wherever I want it in the room and I can do journaling. I'll probably do like junk journaling and art journaling there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see kind of what happens, but I definitely want to have a space at home where I can still do stuff. And now we have the space for it. So I'm glad about that. So that's coming along. We did a run to the landfill. We had this terribly worn out, no good to nobody couch that we had to get rid of. It's not like there was no giving it away. There was no it needed to go in the landfill. And I hate putting stuff in the landfill, but we had to do it. We just had to. Um, it was beyond its last leg um, of its farewell tour, but so we got rid of that. We are getting that room upstairs cleaned up and setting up a bed there, and you know how one project leads to another, and there still is a list of things to get done at home, but we are slowly ticking everything off the list one by one. So we've been feeling really good about that. And I've had a couple of, well, one event in particular is right around the corner. So I have been accepted into it's called the Pots, Plants, and Prints show or market. I think it's called a market, a maker's market. And that is here in Cedar Rapids. So if you're in the area, come and see me. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a really fun group of people. Several of my creative friends who I know online are in this market. So I've been seeing them pop up and say, hey, I'm going to be there too. And it's going to be a fun day. So it is Saturday, April 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Pots, Plants, and Prints Market, which is what I'm a part of, is going to be in the Cherry Building, which is down in the Nouveau District. Um, so you'll find me. You'll find us easily. We're going to be on the first floor, and there are going to be vendors inside the ceramic center as well. So it's going to be a really fun. It's a celebration of Earth Day. I think Earth Day is a few days before this actual market date, but Saturday works better for a market. So um so all of the artists, myself included, are bringing work that has a theme of nature, plants, and earth. And so I have been having a lot of fun. working on some new pieces. I'm focusing a lot on um, bright, colorful florals. So I'm getting some little paintings done. I've also painted some raw canvas that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with yet. I might stitch up some stuff. We'll see. But do come out if you're able to, or if you're in the area, please come and say hi. Hubby and I will be there. Again, that's Saturday, April 25th, 10 to 3, Cherry Building in the Nubo district of Cedar Rapids. So come out and see us. And then I have another little thing on the horizon. This is in May, and it's a workshop. I'm doing another workshop with Kirkwood Community College. This is their soul, I think they call it Soul Care Studios. I can find a photo, I'll pop it in here. We're doing the sunshine shadow boxes. So this particular project is going to be teeny tiny. It's going to be a little shadow box. I think they measure about 5 inches-ish square. And then we're going to sculpt a little sunshine and put it in the shadow and paint the shadow box, paint the sunshine and put it all together. So you'll leave with a cute little sculpted sunshine shadow box. And I'm going to put all the links to all this stuff in the show notes so you can find it easily. But the date for that is Saturday, May 23rd. That is in the continuing ed building of the Kirkwood Community College campus. Yeah. So, and the signups for that and the payments and all that is handled by Kirkwood. And the link will be in the show notes so you can sign up. And you have to be pre-registered to attend because I have to get all the supplies ready ahead of time. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Last week, I had the pleasure of visiting the Mount Vernon Middle School Art Club. Mrs. Jorgensen invites local artists to come and share a little bit about their process and offer a project idea for the kids to do. Okay, we're back. And before I forget, I know you guys are going to ask me about this pillow. Isn't he the cutest thing ever? I have a big one at home. My hubby surprised me with a big one and a little one. I can't remember if it was for my birthday or Christmas or whatnot, but I know you're going to want to know where it's from, and it's Tiger Sheep Friends. Tiger Sheep Friends on Etsy. I'm pretty sure it was their Etsy shop. Go check out their stuff. It is so fun. They have really fun prints, stickers, all kinds of goodies. And so I decided the little baby one can stay with me here in the studio and guard the studio. Anyway, that's the news on the pillow. Back to the kiddos that I was visiting last week. Thought I really thought hard. The thing is, your time is really limited. I think we really only had a good hour of working time. So introducing, a whole project and blah, 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 all that, that's really hard to do in just like an hour or so. So I thought about what I could show them, and I decided on my Collage Sketchbook. This is a book that I work on. I keep this in my rotation with my nighttime sketchbooks and journals. I have a little cart at home that has my I has writing utensils. I have a glue stick. I have all kinds of pens, markers, paint pens, blah blah blah, and it's all in this little rolling cart. And I keep it handy in case I want to work in a book while we're watching TV or whatnot. So this particular book is I think this is just a Blick Studio sketchbook because the paper is really not very special. It's just your average sketchbook, and it's a spiral notebook. And I started off just putting in collage bits and then later on coming back to those pages and responding to them. And I was thinking we could go to the tabletop and I could show you kind of this is kind of what I'm talking about. It's like these are all abstract, and some of them are, not that special. And and some of them I really like. I just look at it as a way of um playing with colors, maybe pushing myself with colors and compositions to just try things out that I normally, may not try. And, some of them, like this one, got really full. And then some of them I've left a little more white space, like this little guy back here is a good example of one where I left more, open space. So I'm going to just kind of page through this. I thought you might like to kind of see how I play in my books at night in front of the TV and kind of where I like to take these when I sit down with the marking tools with my pens and pencils and stuff. Um, it's a really interesting way to work, and I this isn't really representative of the kind of work I do, but it still really feels like me. you know um a lot of these papers are papers I've painted or doodled on, so they have my hand, but it's just sort of a new way of working. So what do you say we go over to the work table and we'll just flip through this, and maybe this will give you some ideas of some things you can play with in your own sketchbooks. Okay, I'll see you over there. Hey friends. Okay, welcome back to the work table. Let's take a look at this book. So again, this is part of my nighttime sketchbook practice. I have this tucked into a cart near the couch with all kinds of writing utensils, not these specifically, but I have a handful of colored pencils. I have paint pens handy there, and a glue stick. I usually have scissors. Here's scissors. This is just kind of busy work that I do when we are watching TV. If it's something I don't need to, pay 100% attention to, I still love having my hands moving. So what this started out as is a sketchbook where I doodled. I would just kind of do some scribbly lines and then fill them in with pens and markers. So this first page is kind of the oddball. The first two pages, I would say, are sort of oddball pages that I didn't know where this book was going. And that doesn't mean you can't do all kinds of things in your book. But I love the challenge of kind of taking a theme and repeating it over and over and over and figuring out different ways to do that. I kind of like that challenge. And so these first couple pages are some, kind of scrappy doodles. I think I started getting an idea of what I wanted to do in this page because there are some collage elements glued down. So, like, this is a piece of scrappy paint paper. This is a collage piece. This pink is a collage piece. And then I doodled and colored in. Let's take a look at some more. So then I was really jazzed at the idea of laying papers down randomly, and then maybe at that time I would come back and add and fill in, or maybe I wouldn't. Sometimes I would just leave it and then come back to it days or weeks later and fill in the rest until I feel like the page is done. This is some that might be glaring a little because that's acetate that somehow I managed to glue in there. that had some paint lines on it. So yeah, so here are some. This one is one of my favorites. I think I just really love that composition. It started off by just like stacking these papers, and then I came back in with a Neocolor 2 crayon, some pen work, um, and some of them, like I said, I really pushed too far in my opinion sometimes. And others I like more. There are elements I like in all of them. For example, like this one, I really love this. This is a pattern, a piece of tissue, like a dressmaking pattern. I really love how that looks layered over there. Do I love how I filled all this in? Not particularly, but you know, you have to practice in order to learn these things. This one, I really love the color combo. I really am digging this. This is sort of a neon pinkish red with the purple crayon marks. That's really fun. So I'm going to skip ahead here and show you some pages that are ready for me to add that next step. Actually, let's do a little bit of collage here together. So I'll show you sort of what I do. And it really is just random and not overthinking. So I also have this little bin of scraps. And sometimes I give myself the challenge of reaching in without looking and pulling out a piece of paper and gluing it down no matter what and making it work. Let's do that. That might be fun. So let me get this out of the way. This is my gluing paper. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to look away while I grab a piece of paper and we will see what we get. Ooh, okay, that's good. And so then I will just I'll figure out a place to put that. I'll glue it down and I'll keep going. So, and this is a piece from a catalog. I recognize that print from a women's clothing catalog. And I love the Yoo-hoo. I think that's what you call them, Yoo-hoo sticks. And I feel like putting this over here. And it's kind of wonky, but that's okay. Okay, now we're going to pick another piece of paper. Let's see. Ooh, more patterns. And this is kind of cool too. So, and if you're feeling like you want to add another option, you could certainly have the scissors. Somehow I've lost my scissors. Here we go. Um, like this guy and this guy are so similar in size, and they both have kind of a small pattern. So I feel like I want to alter this one to make it not the same as that other one. And this little guy is fun too. And I'm just gonna trim up his curve. So let's see. Do that. Okay. So I think you get the idea. It's being random. It's putting things together that maybe you wouldn't have, on your own. Kind of forces you to get creative with what your options are in front of you. So I think I'm going to whoops, come here, you. And I'll trim that later. And then sometimes with a dark, I really love to ground the piece with a little bit of dark on the bottom. Okay. Okay, I'm going to dig back into my paper, see what else I can find. Ooh, there we go. That's kind of fun. And the other trick is to just not overthink it too much. Just put it down. You can deal with it later. Got a couple more here. This aqua, of course, is going to play off of that aqua, so that's nice. I'm going to alter this. And you could give yourself parameters to make make it even. You could say, okay, I'm only gonna let myself glue down 5 pieces of paper, or um, I'm only gonna allow myself, a colorway that is 3 colors or 5 colors or whatnot. So you can give yourself parameters to rein in the choices, and that often can help you to be even more creative. This is kind of giving me a sort of a creature vibe. Let's just go with it. Okay, and I'm going to pick, I don't know about that guy yet. Let's see. Ooh, this is white. And I'm going to give myself the option to scribble on it and add a little, add another, I feel like this needs a little warmth. And let's see, how about this guy? So we'll just come over here and scribble it up and add. So that's kind of an orangey. Oop, you can't see me, can you? There we go. Okay. And since this kind of has orange in it, it gives us something to play with. And I love crunching up paper too. Let's see. Where does that leave us? Sometimes I'll just cut something randomly without forethought and just, without thinking about what shape I'm making. That seems to make things a little more interesting. So I'm just going to stick this guy down without worrying too much about it, and kind of loving that. Okay. So here is where, like, if I'm sitting at home in front of the TV and doing this, I will usually go through several pages and do my collaging. Do a bunch of collaging. Sometimes I'm so excited about a page that I want to just get going on it and start editing it with my pens and pencils. But usually I'll do a session of collage and a session of responding to the page. So, yeah. And this I probably filled up a little more than I would want to. But here are some more. Excuse me, that scratchy throat. Here are some that I've collaged but haven't gone back in and done anything with them yet. This one intrigues me a lot. I don't know why, but I'm excited to do that. This one I filled up a lot. One of the things that I do, if I do feel like I didn't leave enough white space, is I have actually collaged white paper onto, like here, I did that. I don't know if you can see that, but this part is white paper. This is white paper. So I've cut into that with white paper to give the illusion of more white space, but it gives you the interest of another layer, if that makes sense. You're editing with white, but in a new way. So I like remembering that. So with this guy, I might come in either with white paint pen or maybe a piece of white paper just to edit some of that out. This one I love too. It's so weird. And I don't know where that's going to go. We'll see. This one I kind of coordinated a little more with what I chose out of the box. I kind of was going with a color scheme there. And this is an old postage stamp, I think, which is kind of cool. Then I was playing with repeating a motif, kind of a leaf shape, the positive and the negative. I don't know where this is going either. We'll just see. And then this little guy, I kept everything just more compact, more in the middle on top of each other, and we'll see where that takes us. And in fact, I kind of feel like this little aqua piece, I'm going to glue him in there, guys, so he doesn't feel lonely. We'll do that. This is a great way to use up your old scraps, too. This one is also very intriguing to me. I think it's this. I had cut something out of that paint paper, and this is the scrap that was left over. Now, this is one that I did when I was with the kiddos at the art club, and they shared their scraps with me, and I shared my scraps with them. So, like this and this, and this, these are papers I got from them, from their stash. And then these are some papers I had in my stash. And it was so fun. We had like a little swap. And this one, I did that day as well. I found this magazine clipping. So this was the first one I think I've incorporated a word. And I don't know where this is going either. But there's some more of that painted newspaper they had in the art room. And this, I kind of love this as it is. But I won't be able to stop probably from adding something. But this is their painted newspaper. And then I collaged on top of it. And then, oopsie, here's the one we just whipped together. So I was gonna share, let's see, there was one in here. I'm gonna do an actual flip through of this another day because we're just running out of time. But like this is one that I kind of had in my list to do next. And I just kind of play with whatever my instinct is. What do I feel like doing with this? Well, I'm very attracted to this red, the red tickets, the red up here in the corner. And so I may feel like I want to add some more red to the piece. Like, oh, I don't know. Let's marry this corner to that corner, and then I'll do like a repeat. I love kind of repeating lines that connect the pieces together. And the whole point is to not overthink. It's to just have fun and just play. And if you make stuff that you think stinks, that's that's just part of it. And I would challenge you to put it away. Put it away and look at it another day, because you will seeing things in a new day, in new light, really makes a lot of difference. And it's not the point. The point of this is moving your hands and just figuring out different compositions. So yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay. I feel like I want some turquoise here. So maybe I would just make a rough little shape. And maybe you feel like just, repeating those too. Um, we all have our own our own language for what we think, what we feel like doing, what our hand wants to do, and also what our eyeballs love. And I happen to be a more is more girl, so I tend to just kind of, go a little overboard. Um, that's part of the fun of it. And these pages, can be kept in the book, of course. They could also be ripped out, cut up, and used in new ways. Feel like we'll just put some little, I love a hat. I love what do you call this? Is this like a chicken scratch or a hash mark? Yeah. So that gives you an idea kind of where I go with these books. It sort of gives you a really great way to use up your scraps. And if you do this with a friend, like I did last week with the girls in the art club, you can swap with your scraps and get a whole new library of images and pieces to work with. And that's really what it is. This is a library, and you can check out any of the pieces that you want to play with and see what you can do with them. So, yeah. I thought maybe this one I really love. And see, I want to sometimes I sit and I love looking through these. And sometimes I'll come back again. I'll think something is done, but it's really not. Or I just feel like adding something else. And that's kind of the fun of it. These could never end if you wanted them to. You could just keep on going. This is Neocolor 2 crayon that I scribbled and then got wet and dabbed with a towel to pull off a lot of the color. That was really, really fun. As you can see, I sort of love a tippy-toppy composition. I love things that are absurd, that don't make sense, and that, you look at it and go, well, what the what? That's what I love. That's what I'm after. So I hope that you have enjoyed this little technique. If you decide to give this a go, please share. I would love to see it. If you're on Instagram, tag me. I'm at Patrick Dori, Dori. I'd love to see what you all are up to. It's just kind of a fun way to play. I don't know. I love it. And I hope you do too. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. If you made it to the end, would you leave me some kind of, what would be an emoji that would represent collage? I don't even know. Is there a scissor emoji? Is there a glue emoji? Something that has to do with collage. Leave me an emoji so I know you made it to the end. Oh my goodness. See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.